Can you step back and see what assumptions, some judgments, some facts you're relying on? Are they right? Can you reframe negative thoughts instead of saying, I can't believe this is happening, to how can I make this better? It's a real big shift right there. Hi, welcome back to Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind. I'm Corey Shapiro. Last episode, I focused on the 24-hour pause. That gives you the opportunity to respond, not react to these emotionally charged exchanges that occur. But this episode, I want to build on that. I want to think about what should you be focusing on during that 24-hour period. I don't want you to be ruminating. I don't want you to be blaming or catastrophizing. So we're going to go through what not to think about first, the dirty six, and then what to think about to really help you through this process. Because if you're thinking about the wrong things, you just might be really derailed. So first, let's not rehash past conflicts. I should have said that. I should have done that. Don't rehash past conflicts. It can always be better. So just let it go. Let it go. I don't want you to catastrophize about the future. Don't want you to imagine the worst situation, the worst case situation. I don't want you to think about that. Not what you should be thinking about. So that's one of the dirty sixes. Don't catastrophize the future. All right. 3, blame and resentment. I don't want you to blame yourself. I don't want you to blame yourself. I don't even know if I want you to blame your ex. You're just going to get into a cycle of this toxic cycle of anger. Don't want you to do that, especially if you have kids. Also, 4, I don't want you to overthink your response for 24 hours. It's not like you have to craft this perfect response. The response should just be calm. That could be a major step forward. Remember, we're just getting better. We're not getting perfect. 5, don't want you to have revenge fantasies. That could feel really good in the short term. Doesn't that feel good in the short term? But I just not think it's gonna backfire probably. And especially if you have children, no revenge fantasies, please. All right. I also don't want you to fixate on immediate outcomes. Divorce is winning the long war. It's not winning all these little battles that happen. So don't fixate if things aren't going your way. All right. So that's what's not to focus on. So now that we cleared through that dirty 6, not the dirty dozen, the dirty 6, made it half as hard. Let's focus on 5 things that you really should be focusing on during that 24-hour period to get the best. So first, let's do some self-reflection. Why am I feeling this way? Can you step back and see what assumptions, some judgments, some facts you're relying on? Are they right? Number 2, can you reframe negative thoughts? Can you say, instead of saying, I can't believe this is happening, to how can I make this better? How can I make this better? It's a real big shift right there. Number 3, can you focus on your long-term goals? Can that pull you to where you want to go? Doesn't that just take you out of this toxic, emotional, reactive exchanges? Focus on your long-term goals. You want divorce, you want peace, you want better life. Consider the consequences. You got to think in time scaling. How are things going to change in a week, in a month? Think of that 10-10-10 rule from Susie Welch. What can happen in 10 days, 10 months, 10 weeks, 10 years? Think about that. And then shift to something positive. Can you visualize a better outcome? And make it real, like a movie. I want it real. I want to jump into that better outcome. So these tools really help you become more constructive. It's going to move you out of these emotional traps. It's going to protect your peace of mind. That's what all this is doing in that 24-hour period. And I know it's going to be hard doing that 24-hour period. You got to build up to it. So I hope this is a good start. So let's have a reflection question as we're wrapping up this episode. During your 24-hour pause, what's one thought or feeling you've noticed that might be holding you back from acting in line with your long-term goals? How could you reframe it into something more constructive? Now, thank you for joining me today on Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind. You got to use that 24-hour pause wisely. It's really going to be a big shift for you if you can do this. It's going to take you out of that reactive world. It's going to move you into a tactical world. You're going to see some major changes. You're going to get calm, you're going to get cool, and you're going to get collective. And listen, if internally you're feeling angry and stressed and nervous, that's normal. but we're going to fake it until we make it, and that's what the 24-hour pause does. I'm Corey Shapiro. Remember, we're getting more creative, less reactive in your divorce. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for tuning in to the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast. We would love to hear your feedback. Send Corey an email to feedback@gettingdivorced.org. And if you've read his book, please consider leaving an Amazon review. This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.